What's going on, socialites? Ryan here, bringing you a Pokemon UNITE tier list video. Been a long while since we did one of these, but something happened recently in the game that kind of got me excited about it as well again, so I wanted to kind of come back to this. I think the last time we did it was Decidueye drop, was that right? So we've had Dragonite, Aegislash, and the newest Pokemon, Hoopa, all added. And actually going on tonight, I was watching the European finals for the February championship, so really cool to see the Pokemon Unite esports scene finally starting to take off. Really excited stuff. And as I'm recording this, the North American finals are going on, the top 4 teams. So once I'm done with this, I'll probably check that out as well. And I'm going to use some of what I saw in the European stuff to talk about this, but a lot of this is just going to be based on a couple patch notes that have come out since we last talked and just my general feel. I played a little bit recently this past week, so be able to talk about some of these a little bit. But they actually haven't had any big patch notes in like almost a month. The last one that had significant changes, and they weren't even really that significant. The last one that had like changes to moves was all the way back at the end of January, so it's been about a month, even though they've released a couple Pokemon since then. But let's get right into it. We're gonna go this in order of what role the Pokemon is. So we're gonna start off with our Speedsters. Our poor Speedsters, only 4 Speedsters still in the game since release. Only been 4. Hopefully we'll get a couple more add to those to diversify what's going on. So let's start with Absol. Absol's just been hanging out in the C tier. He's gone from between like decent Pokemon to one of the worst, back to being decent, but I just feel like the more Pokemon that get released, the less viable he is, right? Because when a new Pokemon comes out, they're either going to be better or worse than other Pokemon, which therefore, you know, if they're better than you, they kind of like push you down even further, you know? If they're worse than you, then it doesn't matter because you're still good. But yeah, I just feel like some of the Pokemon that have been coming out have been pushing Absol down. You definitely don't see it a lot in battles. The other Speedsters just kind of do what it does better. Yeah, not much to say about their assassin style. Other Pokemon do it better. Alright, Talonflame. Still really like Talonflame. It has some changes to its fly move. Made it less of a kind of runaway thing, but more they want it to be used more for attacking than just running away. So they changed the way the cooldown works. It has a long cooldown, but if you hit Pokemon when you come back down with the fly attack, it reduces the cooldown by quite a lot. So that's what they did for there, to try and make it so you're not just running away as much. They also gave a little bit more healing to I believe it was Aerial Ace. So a little bit more sustainability for Talonflame. I think he's still one of the better speedsters for sure. Fly is still really good, able to get in or out. I definitely think Talonflame still has a pretty good place. Gengar is probably around here. They swapped where his moves go, so his level 5 moves now happen on level 7 and vice versa. And they changed around Dream Eater a little bit. Let me just talk about that real quick here. So yeah, so they made it so that you get Dream Eater and Hex first, and they changed Dream Eater so that I just want to read the right thing here. Dream Eater, oh yeah, it resets the cooldown now when you KO, which is pretty good for Gengar. So Dream Eater Shadow Ball builds, you get that Dream Eater a little bit earlier, and you can use it multiple times to give you more longevity for Gengar as well with that healing. Is that enough though? Like, I think he's still kind of down in the C tier. Obviously when the game first came out, he was broken, one of the best, and since then he's been in a weird spot. as most speedsters are. You're either good or not as a speedster. Zeraora Still very good. I've heard he still has some bug damages to his like damage output for like wild charge and stuff, but still just a very, very good Pokemon. Always kind of been up there around the A or S tier. Ninetales gonna put in B. It's been slipping down. They keep changing around the way Snow Warning works. It doesn't seem to be as annoying as it used to be. And the meta right now is very aggressive. And Alolan Ninetales just doesn't put on that aggression. It just doesn't have the damage output. And it's relatively frail. I'm not sure what they can really do to it. Maybe they gotta do something with Aurora Veil. Make it more of like a supporty attacker, but it just doesn't work like the other attackers do. Cinderace, S tier, still probably the best attacker in the game. Most teams use Cinderace. Of the top 20 players, most of them are Cinderace mains, so there you go. Cramorant, he got a weird nerf like way back when, and they haven't changed him since. Again, kind of in the same boat as Ninetales, as there's just better attackers. But yeah, at least Ninetales can play a little bit of a supporty role, which makes it like this mix sort of thing. Cramorant just doesn't have the damage output that the other attackers have. And there have been a lot more Pokemon released that are better at securing objectives than Cramorant. Next up we have Venusaur. Venusaur might be one of the best Pokemon right now. It is so good. They changed Petal Dance so that when you get that speed boost, it decays over time, so you're not just super fast all the time. It like kind of like shifts downward. And they decreased the area of effect of Venusaur's Unite move, which sounds like a nerf, but at the same time it's actually not that bad, because it means that you'll hit more people in the center instead of just like on the edges. But they nerfed a couple or buffed a couple of their other things as well. I just want to get the buffs here. Like during that, they did buff Sludge Bomb's range, and they increased the cooldown for Solar Beam. So there's still a lot that Venusaur can do for a sniper build, but it still just has so much longevity in healing. Gardevoir, they gave it a buff, then a nerf. It's kind of like just alright. Like, I don't know. It doesn't do anything significantly good. It still has a pretty high skill gap compared to most attackers, like especially compared to like Cinderace and all that. So I think that kind of holds it back. Greninja, still really good. Always been good. Don't know what they're gonna do to not make this guy good. You know, Greninja, Cinderace, they're kind of one and the same. But yeah, a little more skill gap for Greninja, but still really good. Sylveon, when Sylveon came out, it was busted, and then they've just slowly nerfed it. I think it's somewhere around B tier. I think it's like easy to play, but it just doesn't have the same toolkit as Cinderace. And Cinderace got buffs recently too. I didn't say that, but yeah, it got buffs to its Blaze Kick and its Feint. So even though this Pokemon's really good, they still continue to buff it. Decidueye got some pretty big buffs as well in a recent patch. Let me just get this up here. So they increased its lifesteal. They made it so that Spirit Shackle holds 3 stacks instead of just 1. And they increased the hindrances for Leaf Storm. So Decidueye got a lot of stuff. Now, I wasn't a big fan of Decidueye. I think on our last one, I gave it like a B rank. I think it's been going downhill right now. So I'm going to put it somewhere around C. Even with those buffs, I don't know. I don't see like... So as a sniper role, you want to be like an objective secure. I don't think Decidueye has the damage output to secure those, and there are some other Pokemon that we're going to get to really soon that are just way better at securing objectives than Decidueye. Pikachu is actually like pretty good. It got some buffs recently, and it is just seen on a lot of teams as far as like competitive goes. I don't want to find where those buffs were. Sorry, I had this all up, and then here I am just not having them ready for you. Okay, here we go. So yeah, so they increase the damage from Thunder Shock, Volt Tackle, and they decrease the Thunderstorm charge rate. So a lot of good buffs. Yeah, so Pikachu actually does see some play on competitive, so he's gotta be good, right? Charizard, I like Charizard. You know, still just a great Unite move, and they actually made it so that when he's auto-attacking, he's not as slow as before, and they made it so that he can move when using his fire attacks such as Fire Blast and Flamethrower. So nice buffs to Charizard. I definitely think it's playable. It's just a great Unite move spammer. Consistent damage. Dragonite. Dragonite is the Pokemon I've been talking about when it comes to like securing objectives. Dragonite is a great objective secure. I don't know if it might be S tier because I've been seeing it on like almost every team. But I'm gonna put it in A tier right now. I don't know if it's up there in S, but a lot of teams use Dragonite because of its ability to secure objectives through Dragon Dance and Hyper Beam. Just being able to do so much damage with that. Garchomp got some nice buffs. They buffed Dig to give it a special defense and defense boost, and then they kind of nerfed it so that it tweaks based on your level, but it's still like pretty good. Like once you're high level, you don't really notice a difference there. I think he might be like B. I still don't know if he's A yet. Oh, and they made all of his attacks slowing too, which definitely helps. That was a while ago. I think we covered that in a previous tier list video. Aegislash is one of the new Pokemon that we haven't gone over. It has a pretty high skill ceiling, from what I understand. It can pay off, but again, like as far as attackers go, people say there are better ones. As you see, all three of these Pokemon up in S rank are attackers. So that kind of like leaves Aegislash down. It has some pretty cool kind of things it can do though, with like Wide Guard, being able to push stuff around, Sacred Sword or Shadow Claw. But again, it, like I said at the beginning, when three of the top Pokemon are attackers, you don't really have a lot of room. Like you need some bulk, you need some supports, and that just kind of pushes Aegislash down. We'll have to see if they do any tweaks. He's only been out a couple weeks, so they haven't really like had a chance to do too much for him. I could see some buffs coming in. I know they did some bug fixes for him recently, but yeah, could be seeing that. Lucario keeps getting nerfed. They nerfed Close Combat's Lifesteal, so that it doesn't heal per hit with Close Combat, just once. But I mean, Lucario's still really good. He's better in competitive team cores, but he's kind of like Dragonite, where you can secure objectives, but he can also do kind of like more than Dragonite as well in the lane. You know, he kind of has his power array, while Dragonite needs to get up there from Dratini and Dragonair. Serena, when we did Serena, it was at the top. Now it's kind of falling way down. A lot of people don't like Serena. I'm going to put it in the C tier. I haven't played too much with it, but I just know that like its sustainability that I used to get from Triple Axel and all that is just not there. Like they really nerfed that, and people don't like the Stomp builds. So let me know if you're a Serena main, and if you like Serena, maybe it can be up here in the Bs. But from what I understand with it, again, I haven't played. This is one of the couple that I don't own. I don't own Serena, Aegislash, or Decidueye. But that's what I understand from those. Now, Machamp's been getting some good buffs. It got a buff to its submission, which is one of the best moves going on. where it'll still do damage and get the like buff to Machamp, even if the opposing Pokemon isn't CC'd. So before it used to be, oh, you can kind of like use certain moves or use full heals to stop Machamp CC, but not anymore. So Machamp is up in the A rank. It might even be like higher A. And some people are saying it's pushing Lucario out of S. Like these two are really close. You know, like maybe one more nerf to Lucario and then you could see like a switch like this. But as of right now, it's still kind of here. But Machamp is like knocking on that door finally. I remember when Unite first came out, I really liked Machamp. And I think I'll pick him up and play him some more because apparently he's been getting a lot better. Blastoise, not so much. This is like one of our first D tiers. This is another Pokemon that got nerfed to heck, and then people are just finding better and better stuff to do than use Blastoise. Yeah, when Blastoise first came out, man, even though it's a defender, people would jungle with it. It just had so much damage output. It was so good. Then they nerfed Rapid Spin and how that interacted with like Water Spout and all that, and yeah, it's just not the same. Crustal's still being really good. Crustal's probably up in the A tier. One of the best scoring Pokemon in the game. Like, it just refuses to die. And what's the game all about? It's about scoring. So Crustal up there. Greedent, even though it had a nerf, it's now worked its way back up into S. It's not as crazy as it used to be, but man, this Pokemon is still annoying. Still, for a defender, has crazy mobility, has really good damage output. You can take some 2v1 engagements, get a knockout, and get out of there really easy with Greedent. Definitely a very cool Pokemon. Alright, next we got Mamoswine. I was playing some Mamoswine today. It seemed alright, but it's probably somewhere in the C tier. Like, if I was gonna do these, I might kind of go like this a little bit. If I was gonna put them in like an order, but yeah, Mamoswine somewhere in the C tier. Like, again, they're just better defenders, better options for what Mamoswine can do. Slowbro needs some love too. I think he's somewhere right around Mamoswine. He's just like forgotten. No one really uses Slowbro anymore. He has a pretty good Unite move, but and Surf is annoying with the CC, but he can't really do too much. They also kind of tweaked how Amnesia works. It doesn't give you like a damage increase. Now it just gives you like special defense increase, which sounds like it should be what fits a defender, but the games are so fast. You need to be KOing people. You need to be scoring points. Snorlax I'm going to put up in the A tier. Some people still think he's really good. I mean, I think he's really good. But, like, Snorlax just does Snorlax things, and, you know, you just try to, like, hold a lane while the rest of your team goes, like, bottom or whatever to secure that. But it's kind of hard to feed yourself alone, so... And we're going to talk about one of the Pokemon that also kind of hurts Snorlax as well. So they fixed how Curse worked for Trevenant. Oh, this is another Pokemon that we didn't really go over. Trevenant. Before, one of its attacks, Curse, would deal damage to itself. And this could potentially KO it if it was at low enough health, so you could kill yourself without thinking about it if you weren't paying attention to your HP bar. But now they changed so that if you use Curse when you're under 4% HP, it won't take any HP away. So that's really good. I think Trevenant's also somewhere kind of in this C range. Listen, I'm not saying any of these guys are like unplayable. Like, not even Blastoise is unplayable. But I'm just saying, like, these S and A are where you're gonna see a lot of. B you'll see a little bit, and then it's like, okay, now you gotta start making choices when you get down to this C tier. Eldegoss, still really good. They nerfed its potential to take objectives, but it's still nice to be able to give shields to your teammates. Yeah, again, that's why Dragonite sees so much, because these other Pokemon that used to be able to secure objectives, like Talonflame with its fly, and Lucario keeps getting nerfed with its Power Punch, and Leaf Tornado with Eldegoss, these keep getting nerfed, so that's why now we see that Dragonite is seeing so much play with its Hyper Beam builds. Blissey, not so hot, not seen that much. I mean, it can only really be played on coordinated teams anyway, right? So you're not going to pick it up. It's probably even D, to be honest. Put Blissey down in D. I love Blissey when it comes out. I got a pretty high win percentage with Blissey when it first came out. But I think it also helps that, like, other teams always had a Blissey, so it was basically like, okay, you're still on, like, 4v4 sort of terms when it comes with that, so you just gotta be the more helpful Blissey player. Wigglytuff, still the best supporter. Well, okay, I gotta hold my words there. Still a really good supporter. Being able to put Pokemon to sleep really helps with securing objectives, getting goals, etc. So as long as Wigglytuff can keep singing that lovely lullaby, it's going to keep staying up near the top of these rankings. Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime. Not seeing as much play as I thought he would be recently. We're going to stick him in the B tier. I think we've had him as high as A before, but he is, I don't know, he's just not seeing the play. And I think that might just be because he's kind of one of those, similar to Ninetales, that is like, okay, Ninetales is an attacker, but it kind of does support stuff. Mr. Mime is a supporter, but it kind of does attacker stuff. And if you want one of those things, then you just go with, if you want support, you just go with the Eldegoss or Wigglytuff. If you want attacker, you just go with one of these three up here. And then we get to Hoopa. Hoopa. The new kid on the block, and listen, this guy is nutty. He is nutty. This is the Hoopa tier. And this is where Hoopa is. This demon. Let's just take a look at his abilities real quick. I'm gonna pull this up. Alright, so here is Hoopa. Okay, first off, his passive. This is what I was alluding to when I was talking about Snorlax. So Hoopa's passive, every 40 seconds, you're going to steal a berry from your opponent's side of the field. That could be the citrus berry or the Select speed berries. You just steal it. It just pops out in front of you. So you could be in a fight, you, your teammates, you yourself, whatever. You could be in a fight. Boom. You got a berry. You're going to be able to pick it up before the opponent. You took that from your opponent's space. Which is why I was saying this is like a little bit of a nerf to Snorlax. Because if your opponent has a Hoopa on your side, you are missing out on that gluttony ability. For Snorlax, you know, Snorlax likes to come out, punch some things, go back, pick up a berry, get all this health back, go back out, punch some things, sustain. And when your berries are being stolen every 40 seconds, oof, that is tough. And if there are no berries for some reason, you'll pick up random Eos energy that's left on the ground. And then your cooldown's actually only 20 seconds after that. So just really good passive. And if you got a really good passive, you're already kind of working on things, right? Its moves, these don't really matter. I mean, these are like its damaging moves. I don't know if you would use Phantom Force or if you would prefer Shadow Ball. But the thing that makes this guy crazy is this Hyperspace Hole. So what you do is you create a large ring at a location. It does a small AoE damage effect to any enemies in that area, and any of yourself or your teammates that go into that ring after 3 seconds, you will spawn back at home base, be able to heal all the way up, because you know how quickly healing is when you're back at home base, and then be able to teleport back to that hyperspace hole. So you're in a team fight, you're punching stuff, you throw this down, you're doing a little bit of damage to the enemy, your whole team works back to start, you all warp back, now you're back at full health and you're back to punching. And you got all that HP back, so that's gonna turn the fight huge for you. Not only that, but this helps with rotation, because if you drop the hyperspace hole on your forwardmost goal post, so either the forwardmost top or bottom goal, it will create another hole at the opposite lane's forwardmost goal that you'll be able to go in and out of. Like, that's crazy. So you could secure Dreadnought, pop this, and be up to Rotom in all of like 5 seconds. Like, this is meta defining craziness. And then you're like, okay, those are nice. His ultimate Rings Unbound turns him into Hoopa Unbound, and then he just becomes this damage dealing monster that when you pop the move, all your teammates can spawn on you. So they can all just teleport to where you are. They could, again, this could be somewhere like all your teammates are up top for some reason securing Rotom. You're down bottom. You Hoopa Unbound right after they get Rotom or something. Or you probably want to do it the other way. Like, they get Dreadnought and you're up, and then they all teleport on you, ready for the team fight. Like, just some crazy stuff. Totally changing the way rotations and everything are going to work. But yeah, that is my Pokemon Unite tier list now. After Hoopa comes out, Hoopa just changing the game totally. Make sure you play while the event's going on so you can get Hoopa for free. And let me know your thoughts. What Pokemon do you like using Pokemon Unite? Are you even still playing Pokemon Unite? Because I gotta be honest, when I logged in, it was like, ooh, you haven't been here in like 100 days. I was like, yeah, sorry about that. Playing, you know, Brilliant Diamond, Shine Pearl, Legends Arceus, all that stuff. Alright. Thanks for watching, everybody, and as always, stay classy, society.